Know what I'm saying? Where'd you guys go? Oh, there you are. What's up, everybody? I'm Adam with Meller Woodworks. We are at our Purcell job site, and today's a big day. I think we've had 5 crews here for 5 different things going on today. We've got the fireplace guys up there right now putting on the topper for our chimney and then running the pipe. We got the roofers over here. They're getting ready to go up, throw on some Rockwool insulation on the top of the roof deck. They came out late last week, put all the zip underlayment on the roof, and then they're gonna get started on putting on the steel. So we've got a lot of moving parts going on right now, and I think I still even have 2 more appointments coming this morning for more stuff. So big day here at the Purcell Ranch, but let's get into it. I'm going to show you a lot of different aspects of what's going on today, specifically the Rockwool. We're going to go over that. We'll do a full tutorial on how that gets installed, why it's good, and then we'll watch them get the steel up. That's right, I said watch, because today I ain't putting my bags on. Let's get into it. Our Rockwool going up. We got the crew up behind me on the roof installing this. It's the Rockwool Comfort Board 80. It's an R6 insulation value.
So we got new windows, but they don't quite fit. Got to make the hole bigger. So here we are making the hole bigger. You know, I'm not meant for this thing.
Like Caden said, we are trying to get this window in here. There it goes. All right, so we finally got our windows for the bathrooms, and they're glass block style windows. And when we ordered them, we asked, let me see, have a hammer. We asked for a rough to fit a rough opening, a 24 by 48, and of course, that's not what it is. The actual window itself is this way, 24 1/4, which my rough opening is 24, so I needed the window at 23 1/2. I would have been okay with that. Now, lengthwise, it fits just fine, but height, it was too tight because they made it wrong. So, because I was right and they were wrong, we've got to widen all these windows now. The windows are over here. Let me show you what they look like. So glass block windows for the bathroom. They're actually going to be really stinking cool, especially with the brick. They'll match real well with the brick, the stonework that we're doing on the bottom. But lengthwise, we're perfect. I've got an extra a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch to play with to get it level. But in my height, this is 24 1/4, and it was supposed to be like 23 1/2, so they overshot it when they put them together. So now we have to redo our rough openings to get it to fit. And that, my friends, is construction. Problem solving. The only thing we do all day long as builders. Problem solve. Yeah, see, so we're exactly 24. Let us remove 3/4 of an inch from this. And then from each of these studs too. So Yeah, so since we're gonna drop 3/4 off of our sheathing here, now we need to drop 3/4 off of our studs so that when we put our bottom sill back on, we're matching here and we're flat all the way across. And then we can come back, put our bump outs, our 2x4 bump outs, furring strips on the outside, and then we'll be good to go. There it is. We've had a lot of work that happened for us last week because we were out of town at another job site, so I had our local sub crew come in and knock some stuff out. And we are actually standing on the wraparound deck. Check it. It is 10 feet wide and it goes 4 feet past either side, either end. So the house here is what are we? We're 28, so that's 32. So we're at like 36 feet long by 10 feet wide just on this side, but it wraps. It goes all the way around this house and it's phenomenal. And this is gonna be the finished floor. It's amazing. No, I'm just kidding. This is temporary plywood that we put on, just 1/2 inch. The reason you don't use it is because it swells. Check this out. Don't use this stuff for permanent. Use it for temporary. We're using it for temporary on our deck so that we can get up here and work safely. And then when we come back out here to get ready for our exterior sheathing and our siding, all the way around this build, we got some cleanup to do first. We had the subs out and they installed some windows. We didn't get any Lexel around this bead. We didn't get any flashing over the top of the flange, the nail flange here. We're unprotected down around here on the sides. We got some cuts going on. So we need to work on our windows. Also, we have a lot of penetrations coming out. And they did put some sealant around here, but what happened is, well, it didn't seal anything. we're still moving in there, and there's all these gaps and cracks, so that was just a waste of their sealant. I'm not sure why they did that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back and we're gonna make sure that everything is sealed tight. This is an air leak. Air leak transfers water and vapor into the wall assembly, and that's what we don't want. That's what we want to avoid. That's why we're trying to build tight homes, to make sure that the uncontrolled air doesn't get into our house. We want to actually control everything that goes in. We'll give you some shots of that, how we're controlling that in a minute. But there's still a lot of work to do on making sure this home is super tight. We've still got a lot of nail heads. We got a lot on this side, but the other side, we still need a flash, liquid flash our nail heads, and then we still got some tape that we need to clean up and get rocking and rolling. So that's this side. Let's go check out the other side. So this is the end of the home, the back side of the house. We got a 4-foot walkway here. We'll have a black handrail on this side. Be careful walking down here, Brandon. Make sure you look down too. So right here, I don't know what happened here, but we're gonna get you a shot of this. But whoever was on the nail gun over here was having a really, really good day, because there are so many nails right here, and they are all just like, I mean, some of them they pulled out and they just left it. So these are all just penetrations into our home. All this has to get flashed and sealed up properly. But we might actually be ripping this out because I think the homeowners have decided to add a big sliding door right here. So we potentially might be cutting this out and framing in a door. See, here's a nail poking out right here. Not sure why this is poking out. Not sure why they decided to put it through the zip tape. This nail, surely it hasn't worked its way out, but yeah, it's just hanging out, and it's through my zip tape. So that's a air barrier issue. Air and water can get in there and start rotting this out. Stuff like this we can't have. So we're gonna have to come back over this with a fine tooth comb. Our framers did an awesome job. Our subs did an awesome job. They got the job done, but the little details between a standard Oklahoma home and a high performance home that is built on building science are things like that. It's, you know, structurally it's fine. It's gonna be fine. But all those penetrations and all these little issues are gonna be future issues, and that's what we're trying to avoid. We don't want this house just to last 20 years before we have to do a remodel. We want it to go like 60, 80, maybe even 100 years before we have to do a remodel. So little things like that is gonna make a huge difference. Giant holes for little pipes, you know, that's like, what are we doing and why are we doing it? It's all fixable. It's fine, we can take care of it. But overall, not bad. They knocked out a lot of work. It's just the little details that we got to focus on now. But little things like this, we need to come back and reseal. That is a hole straight into the house. That's uncontrolled air coming in. That's what we're trying to avoid with our building science. I think that's all I have for out here. So let's go inside. I'm going to show you some things that got done in there too. All right, so we are inside the house now, and one thing that I definitely wanted to show you is how filthy it is in here. We're gonna get that cleaned up next week because there's a lot of work that we're getting close to finish mode. So what I really brought you in here for is directly above me. This is the Broan Fresh Air System. It's our ERV. We put ERVs in our homes because we are building them so tight. And if you build a tight home, you have to have good indoor air quality. Think of like a cooler, right? A cooler with the lid shut does a really good job at containing what's inside, right? But sometimes that air in there, as we all notice when we open up our coolers after we haven't been them in a while, sometimes it traps stale, just rotten, nasty air, and we open it up and it's hot and it's moist and it's like, gross. Let's open this lid and let it air out for a while. Same thing with our homes. We're building a really tight home, and the air in here can get stale. It can get stale because we're doing laundry, we're washing dishes, our bodies just naturally put off moisture. We're taking showers, we're using the toilet. All these things in our home are creating moisture inside the house. We have to account for that, otherwise we're gonna have stale air inside the house, and then we're gonna have very poor indoor air quality. So the way we do that is we install these ERV systems. The ERV system does simply one thing. It brings in fresh air. We call it fresh air, but is it really fresh air outside? Because there's all that pollen and everything, and every time I go out there in the Oklahoma summers, I'm sneezing. So I don't think it's really fresh, but we're taking the outside raw air, we're bringing it into our ERV system. It is filtering it through a MERV 8 filter, which is the sweet spot for where we're at. And then after it filters it, it's dumping it back into the house. We got an outlet here, one over there, and then we got two going upstairs as well. So the purpose of it is to bring in some conditioned fresh air. And not just opening up a window and saying, whew, it's hot in here, let me open up a window and let all this pollen and raw, humid outside air just come into my house. We're actually bringing in conditioned air that has been filtered, that is good indoor air quality. It's healthy for you and for the occupants of the home. So that's why we use ERVs. That's the whole point of them, and that's why it's important to do them in a tight home. It's really going to help with the moisture in here, and it's going to bring in better air quality. Also, what you can do with these is you can hook them up to your fart fans. Yes, the exhaust fans in the bathrooms. You can hook them up to your fart fans in the bathrooms and take all that stale air and all that humidity and that moisture from when you're taking a shower, run that through the ERV as well, recondition that, and then dump that back into the home. So it's almost like you're reconditioning or recycling the air that's already in your house. Okay, so this is our open living concept. So we have our kitchen back over there. You're standing in the living room. We're eventually gonna have a spiral staircase right here. And then I believe we're still planning on putting in an elevator right here in this bay, which I'm really excited about. That's gonna be a cool little feature in this tiny house. I like it. But we're going with not a traditional HVAC system in this home. We're going with mini splits. So we have a couple down here. These are the heads up here. And any of these small PVC lines that you see coming down, those are our drain lines. And then we have a lot of our conduit lines coming out, going to the outside head as well. So in here, in this house, downstairs and upstairs, it's all gonna be controlled by mini splits. The reason we didn't go with the giant HVAC system is honestly, with the roof being so way up there, it's a scissor. They're scissor trusses, so it's a vaulted ceiling up in the upstairs. Not a lot of space to put your furnace, and because we're really tight, we're really confined in here. So we thought, I think we thought that the mini splits would serve us better, especially in a small space, and then pair it with the ERV, and I think we're going to be just fine. Especially since we're going with Rockwool insulation on this project. So in our wall cavities, we're going to get an R23 value, but we're also going to put an R6 comfort board exterior insulation continuous around this entire house and wrapping it in that thermal blanket. So we're going to have an R29 cumulative in our walls, and then up in our roof, we're going to have an we'll have an R30, so then we have the outbounds, we'll be at an R36 up on our roof deck. It's gonna be conditioned attic space, so our insulation is gonna go directly onto that roof decking. That's gonna really help the interior of this home and keep everything conditioned, because we do have a little bit of attic space that we can use, but not much. But we wanna condition that anyways, because why not? So I think that's it for where we're at right now. Next week, we're gonna come out, we're gonna clean this whole job site up, we're gonna vacuum it, we're gonna scrub all the walls, we're gonna get everything spick and span, we're gonna come through with a moisture meter, make sure all of our wood is in a good spot before we start covering it all up with drywall. So we'll get you some shots of that for our next video. So I'll close this one out by saying thanks for watching. If you don't know, we are now, you can now become members of our channel on YouTube. So there should be a join button somewhere around here, probably somewhere down here. But click that join button, and then that helps support us, that helps support the team. And we're gonna get to the point where we do some member-only videos down the road here pretty soon as well. Like, follow, subscribe, share. And if you hate the content, let us know, because that helps out the algorithms. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the next one.